Back at it.
What up, Torin?
What up, Austin?
Cheers, dude. We're back. Wi-Fi-ing it. We were together over the weekend. Got a concert. Did a show. Didn't have any time to upload the video or audio, so it may be lost forever. We'll see. But we're back. We're
back.
What are we down? 7 weeks?
Seven weeks in the books for Premier League.
7 weeks in the books. Now, we're going to go through each Premier League game over the weekend. There were a lot of good ones, a lot of upsets, which, spoiler alert, killed our betting. So we were bound to have a bad week. Sure. Week. So this one definitely hit us hard. I have a feeling it hit me hard for pick'ems and for fantasy. So take us through the episode, warm up, and let's just get it over with.
Yeah. So starting with pick'ems. So keep in mind, like you said, there were a lot of crazy games this weekend. There was also an extra makeup game that counts for this week. So there was actually 11 games. We had a game today as well. So scores may be a little skewed from normal. In pick'ems, with today's game, I think I got it exact, and it jumped me into first place.
Nice.
With 13 points. You also jumped up. You ended up in third place with 11.5, so only 1.5 behind me.
I'll take that.
So we both did really strong in pick'ems, actually. Fantasy, on the other hand, different story. So I ended up in fourth place with 52 points. You ended up in last with 34 points.
Oh, that hurts.
So give me a sip there. It wasn't absolutely horrible. Like I think I was only 5 or 6 points behind third and second or something. So I wasn't that far out of reach, but 34 points has gotta hurt.
I was doing so well the last couple of weeks too. I was getting back into it. I was like, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
And dud.
Prop bets. Oh my God.
We don't do them.
We literally talked about it as we started the last episode, and still forgot to do it. So we both need to take another drink again for missing prop bets.
All right, Thursday we're doing it. We're doing it on Thursday.
We might start the show off with it to make sure we get it done. This is, I think, 3 weeks in a row that we've managed to miss this one.
We probably would have hit it too because there were so many upsets.
Yeah, this was the week. We both would have been in the money there. And then last start of the show drink, checking in on number of red cards. We actually had 3 over the weekend, 2 from one game from the same team.
Yeah.
With Jota and Jones on Liverpool, and then Niakate on Nottingham Forest was the third. So 3 drinks there to start things off.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull the numbers for the Thursday show on the rate of red cards this year versus last year, because this is unheard of. I feel like there shouldn't be this many reds, and yet here we are again. We'll get into the Liverpool game.
Whew. Yep.
There's going to be a lot of let's just start there. We have to start there.
Betty, yeah, we gotta. That's top of the list. We gotta get into that.
First off, it's a huge showdown. So this is a match that both of us, I think, we're looking forward to the most out of all of the matchups this week, right?
Mm-hmm. That was match of the weekend for sure.
And then I don't want to say out the gate because the match was going, but too early, there's a straight red that is a yellow card at best. Like it give him a yellow card and just move on. Like, why is that a red card? It's so stupid. Like he was going for the ball. He hit the ball first and then followed through over the ball into the guy's leg. Looked bad, for sure hurt, could have injured the player, sure, but it's a bang play, and he's not trying to be dirty. He's not trying to clean him. He's going for the ball, and he hit the ball. Like, give him a yellow for what happened and just move on. Like, I really, really hate how VAR just is just turning everything into a red.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is, I feel like of all the ones we've talked about, this one I feel like is the most sort of, I think either side can make a legitimate argument here. And I could easily listen to both sides. I think you're spot on. Went for the ball, was not trying to injure him at all, right? Was just trying to get the ball. but did go over the ball and did look very bad and definitely could have been a serious injury, the way that he connected with the shin. So I feel like there was no way you couldn't give it a red. Just the way the game's being called now, the way red cards have been given out this year, there was no way that that could not have been a red card in this environment. But I do agree with you. I feel like the intent was not there, and it just doesn't feel like a fair punishment for what was done. And this brings back the discussion again about like, can there be some sort of in between, punishment when it's not intentional, when it's obviously not intentional, but it still is dangerous, right? And still could have caused injury. There's got to be a way to find in between. I definitely don't agree with, that will, a straight red like that will turn into a 3-game suspension, I believe, automatically. Like, that's just not a fair punishment in this case, right?
And for us as a viewer, as the two teams, like, you're completely changing the match 26 minutes into the game. It's a completely different match all of a sudden. Like, it's just not fair, and it's stupid. And it's like Liverpool, once again, this is the second time this year already that they have to go down to 10 men and play a big side. They stole the win from Newcastle last time it happened. This time, they almost did it again, and they probably would have gotten a point if not for VAR fucking them over again on the Luis Diaz goal. They scored a goal. VAR went to look at it. I guess the VAR guys got the call on the field wrong, so when they communicated that the call on the field was wrong, they were like, oh, wait, the call on the field was onside?
Was offside.
Or was offside,
yeah.
It was... Yeah. They completely jacked that up. I don't know. Have you listened to the audio?
I listened to like a transcript of it. I didn't listen to the actual audio, but from what I could tell, right, it's they arrived at the right answer. So it wasn't like a lack of just like total stupidity of like not understanding offsides, right? They're like, no, that's onside. But in the communication back to the ref, it was completely jacked up. And so the ref did what he said, what he heard, right? And they said it was the call on the field was confirmed. I think you're spot on. I think they thought the fact that they were reviewing it, I think they thought that the call on the field was that it was a goal, right? And not realize the call on the field was an offsides. And so, it just completely slipped somebody's mind there. But there's got to be a way they got to find a way to change that.
That's the thing is the transcript versus listening to it. The transcript goes, I'm not going to remember it verbatim, but paraphrasing here, it basically goes like, the guys go, oh shit, wait, the call on the field was offside, not onside, and they realized it, and then they yelled they communicate, delay the game, and the other guy goes, the game just started, it started, like there's nothing we can do. It's like, you need to stop the game. Be like, just stop the fucking game. We made a major mistake. That is where the amount of time that passed is a split second from delay the game. Oh, the game just started to oh shit, there's nothing we could do. And it's like, yes, there is. Just stop. Just avoid all of it. Just blow the whistle. That's why you have a whistle. Stop the game. Get the call right. Be like, hey, sorry for the 5 seconds you played extra. We're going to get this correct. They fucked up on so many levels. It is embarrassing. And I also saw that they pulled that crew and that ref off of this week's game, so they're not reffing this week.
I mean, that you got to
probably for their own safety.
For real.
But
you can't put them in another situation like that.
You actually can't blame the official. The match official, it was fully on the VAR, but they needed to communicate to him like, "Yo, you need to stop this now." That's where I think they made their biggest mistake.
And I guess, I mean, that's where I'm doing some reading. It's obviously referees being referees, very very much sticklers to the rule book, and I guess the way the rules and laws have been written now for VAR is they're not allowed to do that. So it sounded like they discussed that, and that they're like, no, well, we can't act. We're not allowed to do anything now, which I agree with you. It's just complete stupidity. But it's once again, just incompetence. It's like there's got to be some common sense in this shit. Like, come on.
There's got to be.
And supposedly it was so the way VAR works is there's a VAR and an assistant VAR, which are basically referees, but then there's a replay operator. And I believe what I read was that it was the replay operator, who isn't actually a ref and isn't actually allowed to say anything. That was the one that was like, yo, guys, we just fucked up. And so it was the one that said, oh shit, like, do something.
Yeah.
Even though he's not allowed to tell the ref anything. But I guess he was the
guy. The voice of reason.
Realized,
yeah.
Yeah, and supposedly it's just like some like younger guy that is a tech guy,
knows how to
that
use
like runs the cameras. Yeah, right. So he was the voice of reason in all this, which is just
embarrassing.
Look, I think.
Embarrassing. So once again, Liverpool gets screwed, and then they
Jota.
Then they get another red card, which 2 yellows in like 3 minutes. You're stupid. I'm not defending that one. So they go down to 9 men. They still almost get a point. It's 1-1. Even with their goal rescinded, they're still going to get a point.
Injury time.
And then the last minute of the game, an own goal, and they lose. Oh, my God. Just heart-wrenching stuff for Liverpool. And then to find out after the game that, oh, wait, we should have had an additional goal. Like, oh, my God. How pissed off would you be if you were a Liverpool supporter, player, coach? Oh, my God. This has to be appealed. Probably nothing will come of it, but
so they did officially immediately appeal, and they were driving to get the auto release, which obviously the Premier League went ahead and did today. Finally, I do believe, from what I heard, that it's very unlikely that the Jones red card will be appealed, basically, or repealed, just because it technically was a red, like, even if we disagree with it, I mean, by the letter of the law, it's a red card. So I don't think there'll be any.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But they did go ahead and appeal it anyway. But I mean, you got to be. I mean, being a fan of a team, finding something to blame. Obviously, they got royally screwed in this. Also, though, I mean, there's things like the Jota red card, which was just stupid. Like, there's still stuff that they could take away from the game. Like, we got to be better here, like. But the focus is going to be 100% on this ref stuff.
But it's still early in the season, but this is a huge game with huge implications. These are 2 teams in the top 4. Tottenham jumped them in the standings because of this.
Yeah,
like, Liverpool are going for the title.
If it comes down to 1 point. At the end of the season,
absolute bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Like, it's unbelievable that this happened. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And it's just.
And then to hear that, and I had seen this before in Serie A, but Champions League, Serie A, and I think there's another league as well, that they have the offsides completely automated. Just like if you ever watched like tennis, where they have like the Hawkeye or whatever it's called that traces the ball. They basically have that for the goal line technology, and then B, used for offsides in places like Serie A. So it takes all the stress and time and focus needed to like draw the lines and do all that crap, right? As a referee, you can just focus on what the system's telling you. You're not distracted by all this other crap. You're much less likely to make a mistake or get a call wrong or say the wrong thing in a stressful moment like we saw here. It's just that needs to happen. It's just stupid that it hasn't happened already.
Well, here's what also should have happened.
How could the Premier League be behind that?
So the center ref didn't find this out until halftime. He didn't know of any of these mistakes until halftime.
Yeah.
Why not come out at halftime and be like, hey, we're giving Liverpool a goal? That goal should have been. Why not? They fucked up. This was a goal that counted.
Yeah.
So like, why, if you're admitting you made a mistake, do you not fix the mistake? Oh, you can't. Why can't you do that? You can take it away, but you can't give it back. That doesn't make sense. It's like, that's where common sense needs to just come in and be like, look, guys, this happened. We royally screwed up, but we're going to get it right. We're going to get it right.
Yeah.
Not, hey, we royally screwed up, but we got to stick with it because...
I mean, that's the way the rules are written.
That's how it is. It's dumb. It's dumb.
I know it's stupid, and rules are meant to be broken and changed and morphed and melded into something better. But I mean, can you imagine being Tottenham in that situation? Like
they would have less of an argument than Liverpool does now.
Oh, 100%. But imagine, I mean, it's the butterfly effect, right? So say you go in a quarter of the game playing a certain way because you're up or you're tied, and then all of a sudden you find out, oh no, you were actually down that whole time, and you subbed off your attacking midfielder, or you switched to a 5-3-2 to play more defensive, right? There's so many other arguments that come into play doing something like that. Yeah. So I understand why you can't just go do that, or why there would be an argument against that. But getting back to your original point, doing it 5 seconds later, different story.
Yeah, true.
Doing it 25 minutes later, 45 minutes later, that's a different story that I don't know if I would agree with. But
yeah,
there's got to be a better way.
It just sucks. It just sucks.
Yeah.
All right, so Tottenham stole 3 points at home. Absolutely
so
stole it
for, and ended up just being dramatic for other reasons. Right?
Yeah, it just was never the match we wanted, and it's a bummer for anybody except a Tottenham fan. So
yeah,
that moves Tottenham to second place in the league. How about that?
How about that?
And they are right behind Man City, despite Man City going down to Wolves. Can you believe it? We had so many bets tied to a Man City win. I had Man City players on my fantasy team that got me nothing. Yeah. It was just... This was the most surprising loss of the week for me. And...
Yeah, I think for the season so far, it's got to be.
It didn't seem fluky.
No.
Like, yeah.
I mean,
Man City was the better team.
It was not the classic Man City had like, they probably had way more shots, right? But they didn't have that many like clear chances where it was like, oh, they should have scored and they hit the post 4 times. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? There was a game earlier in the season that had like that, I think against maybe Sheffield, where it was like they just couldn't score, but they should have scored.
Yeah.
This felt like a much more competitive type of game. And they, like you said, they were still the better team. They probably outpossessed the crap out of Wolves.
Yeah.
But Wolves is in it. Wolves is playing their game. They were threatening, put pressure on them. And it's a deserved win, I feel like. I mean, the stats might say a different story, but watching it felt like a deserved win.
They had their counterattacks and they took their chances and they defended their ass off, And like you said, Man City had chances, but they weren't clear cut. It was, It was always a difficult chance. I will say the Alvarez free kick was really clean.
So good. Dude, and Wolves' second goal was just awesome. Dude, I love seeing players that choose to pass it off for the easier shot instead of just trying to shoot it through 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
That was just awesome. It was just the perfect cap to that game for them.
Dude, huge win for them. And big implications because it moves Wolves off the bottom, essentially.
Yeah.
So now we look at the standing. Wolves jumps all the way up to 15th. That's a huge gap that they got 3 points off the champions. Like, that's not supposed to happen.
You don't count on those points.
If you can get like one other win against a top half team, if you're Wolves, like for the rest of the season, all you got to do is just take care of basically being above 500 against the bottom half, and you're good. And you're set.
Yeah.
So, huge win for them. So happy that.
Yeah, and
it was the. Sorry. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, at the other end of the table, massive implications as well, right? So suddenly, and we'll get into some of these other games. Man City was already starting to create a gap with pretty much every team either having like a couple draws or a loss that were kind of up there with them, and boom, suddenly we got teams only 1, 2, 3 points behind them again. So it definitely makes the top much more exciting for the next stretch of the Premier League.
Well, I let me just say this: I'm not worried about Man City in any way. They're gonna be at the top the whole year. If they're not first, they're gonna be
Yeah,
second. But
yeah,
we've talked about it without De Bruyne. Sometimes they struggle to create chances, like quality chances.
hmm
And this match, they didn't have Rodri playing, which I think hurt them on top of not having Kevin De Bruyne.
yeah. Oh, big time, big
So
time. They
they
were
can
basically
still,
down their they're down their best and second and third best player, I should say. Best and third best player out of the game.
they still
It
should win
hurts.
3-0,
They
but
still they still should win.
it is possible to beat this team. And I actually like to see them lose this one because it just makes the
Oh
rest of the
yeah.
race so much more
Oh, I
exciting.
know. I love it.
So much
I
more
love it.
exciting.
I'll eat an imaginary betting loss to have this excitement for the rest of the table.
Oh,
So
for sure.
they still are, leading the league in goals allowed even with this loss. They still have the best defense on paper. They're still up there. They don't have the most goals, but they're right up there with the top of the bunch.
If we could have bet
So I
that
mean,
beginning of the year, I would have put heavy money on them being fewest goals allowed.
fewest goals. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I bet those are not tasty odds. But
So first loss for Man City, first win for Luton Town.
boom,
Huge dub. Can you believe it? I wish I had the balls to have taken
on the
them over
road,
Everton,
on the road.
but I couldn't do it. And Everton,
Yeah,
it's an embarrassing loss. It really is. Like,
yeah. That one hurts, man.
it's definitely not rock bottom for them.
Yeah.
And they were actually playing better the last few games, but to lose to Luton Town, dude,
That
embarrassing.
hurts, man.
At home, is Dyche in
It hurts.
trouble?
It hurt. No, it hurts less because they obviously were coming off of that really nice win at Brentford. So I, and they also had a win in the Carabao Cup. So I think if this had happened before those two things, major trouble, red alert, flags waving. But the fact that they had those couple really good performances in between their losing streak in this game, I think it paints a different picture slightly. But you got to bounce back from this immediately. I don't know who's next on the slate for them, but
Next, they
this
have
is this
Bournemouth at
this
home,
was tough.
which they should be in that
They're also
game.
looking they're also looking for their first win.
I wouldn't call them a favorite for anything. Um, but then they have to go to Liverpool.
Oof.
That's a beatdown. And then they have to go to West Ham. And then they have Brighton, Crystal Palace, Man United. Like,
Tough, man. Tough stretch.
they are going to be
I don't know.
fighting for relegation the entire year. They just are.
Yeah. I just don't think Dyche is the reason. Like I
No.
don't think you make a move on him. I don't think he should be in danger. Obviously if you get to a certain point in the season and you're still in the bottom tier, they kind of have to make a move. But I don't think he should be
Uh,
in any sort of threat, for the next month or so.
you and I agree on this all the time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter when your team sucks if you change like the coach changing doesn't do anything. Like,
I think I said this before. I think you get just an automatic like 2 games where like players play with like a renewed like, oh, I got to prove it to the manager, new energy, da 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 da. But then it's just immediately bad.
and then it just goes back. Yeah,
If you
exactly.
got bad players, you got a bad team. That's what it comes down to. I did want to shout out in this game. I heard the story after the fact, but so Tom Lockyer, who scored the first goal for Luton Town, I think he was actually the captain. I didn't realize this, but in the promotion game that they won to make it to the Premier League back in, I assume it was May, he actually had some sort of like heart event. I don't know if you call it a heart attack. Something happened where he, like, I believe, actually like collapsed
Oh wow.
and then had to come out of the game. I don't think it was nearly as bad as whatever Ericsson went through, but still, it was like a serious health scare, and actually, had to come out of a game, and this was kind of like his return. Like he made it back, made it to the Premier League, made it back to playing again, and scored a goal to help give Luton their first win on the road in the Premier League. Just one of those feel-good stories for Lockyer. So wanted to shout him out.
Nice. Yeah, I didn't know that. He had an Ericsson event.
Something, yeah. I mean, there was some, technical heart term that I don't know had like 15 letters in it, but
it's crazy when that
I assume it
happens.
was essentially a heart attack.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But the crazy results aren't done coming.
Man U at home loses to Crystal Palace. Can't score a goal at home. They lose 0-1. And oh my God, is this rock bottom for Man United? This is their worst start to a Premier League season after 7 games since 1989.
Crazy, man.
They are looking so bad. I don't care how injured you are. You still have talent on the field. More talent than the teams that you're playing against. Like, to lose at home to Crystal Palace, like, Crystal Palace isn't a bad team, but you're telling me you can't score a goal? Like, come on. Like,
Bad, man.
Where's Fernandez? Where's Rashford? Like, I don't know, man. It's gone from bad to worse with this team, and I don't know. You asked me a couple weeks ago, like, who's on the hot seat more, or who would you rather be, Ten Hag or Pochettino? And I said Pochettino probably is in more danger because Chelsea change coaches all the time. But, dude, Ten Hag, I bet would love to take Pochettino's place right now.
Yep. Yeah, I bet so. I don't know if there's ever been a larger microscope on a coach and a team. It's crazy right now. So he actually came out after that game. I don't know if he said it in a press conference or if it was just like leaked out or whatever, but supposedly after the game, sometime after this game this weekend, he was alluding to the fact that he thinks, a lot of the players on the team are weak-minded, essentially. They can't hold up to the stress. They can't hold up to the challenges that they have to face. Is he doing it to cover his own ass, or is he telling the truth? I don't know. But I think it's a bit of a mixed bag there. I definitely think there are some players on there that they can't live up to the pressure of playing for a team like that, and they've got to get to the bottom. We made this comment before from Ralph Ragnick that said, "Man, you don't need an antibiotic, or they don't need medicine. They need open heart surgery." Right? There's just something wrong at the heart of this team that they got to sort through.
Totally. If he's saying that, like, I don't love it when coaches go after players unless it's merited. And if you're saying something like that,
and it wasn't at a specific player. It was just in general, right?
Yeah, I want specifics if you're gonna say that stuff.
Yeah.
I want to be like, look, this guy and this guy weren't able to cut it, and so I took them out. If they're weak-minded, then take them out the game and put someone in who you like better. Like, you're the coach. Like, don't bitch about it later. Like, you have control over these weak-minded players unless you think the whole team is doing that. Then it's just, okay, it's a ploy to, get your team to play harder maybe. I don't know. I think there are guys on this team that are solidified as legitimate players who have played in huge matches. Casemiro, Varane, Rashford, even Fernandez. Like, these guys have played in huge matches. Like, you don't think they can handle it? Like, I think they can. So, who are you talking about? Like, I don't know. I feel like it's a pretty weak.
I think it was more of a cover than anything.
Yeah,
personally.
Pretty weak, if you ask me.
Yeah.
He needs to take some responsibility for the vibes in his locker room, and doing that probably doesn't help. So,
Yeah, but tough streak for Man U. And Champions League this week, which we'll talk about next episode.
Champions
But
League on Thursday. Yep.
yeah, so but still we're not done with the surprises out of the Premier League, or at least interesting news. So the next game on the slate was Aston Villa hosting Brighton, and absolutely dismantled them.
Wow.
Systematic destruction of Brighton. Did not see this one coming.
I knew this was going to be high scoring. I didn't know it was going to be one-sided.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Aston Villa wins 6-1. And I got to say, it's the same thing last time when Brighton lost. Who was it that they played? I think it was West Ham. I don't like when he puts Ferguson and
Welbeck.
Ferguson and Welbeck in at the same time.
Yeah.
Like they don't complement each other. I don't know why he does it. When I saw them go out that lineup, I was like, oh man, they're gonna struggle. And on top of that, Gross didn't play, so that hurts.
Yeah, especially when you have Fati or Pedro on the bench. Like, put somebody else in instead of Welbeck.
Welbeck's more of like a number 9, and that's what Ferguson's playing. So like, don't put them both out there. It doesn't. They don't complement each other. So it was a weird lineup for me, and I feel like I guess I don't feel worse about Brighton. And I don't feel better about Villa. I think this is kind of like Villa's a dangerous team. You give him chances. You get Ollie Watkins on fire, he's going to score. Brighton's not perfect. I think they're going to continue to have amazing games, beat some top teams, but they're flawed. They're not going to they're not going to be
they're going to allow goals the way they play.
Exactly.
I mean, that's just the way they play. Games like this happen, right, where there's some early goals, things get out of hand. There were 2 early goals, then an own goal right after it. All of a sudden, you're 3 down.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it happens sometimes. Even if, like, we disagree with maybe some of the lineup choices, they also have some injuries, which aren't helping, like you mentioned. So these games happen, and I agree. It doesn't necessarily discourage me as much from Brighton. I do feel positive about Aston Villa, because in a game like this where they came out early, they had some luck go their way, they came out strong, they stayed strong, right? So they carry this through to the end. And obviously, Brighton might have hung up the cleats a little bit early, but they kept the foot down all the way to the end of the game. It just felt like they just kept it going. So I am impressed from that perspective. There was no chance of this one slipping away. With the way they played, even after going up 3-0 early, they gave it to them.
Yeah, good win. That moves Villa to 5th in the table, above Brighton, who's in 6th. So both those teams are fighting for that European spot. They're going to be fighting all year. So huge win for Villa. Next up, here we go, baby. This should have been the lead.
Oh, get out of here.
Chelsea win. But even more importantly, Mudryk gets his goal, baby. He scores a nice goal at that, a very nice goal. Brought it down off the chest and finished right down the middle. It was a nice finish. But he also created some chances.
Yeah.
Like, this is my thing. Like, he can break down a defense, and he got a finish. He got his goal. He can get that off his back. But then he doesn't play the second half because he comes off with an injury. It's like, oh my god, dude, you got to be kidding me.
It's just
it's like such a
the way some players are, man.
It's like,
it's just the way some
just
players
can't get
are.
the momentum, And I feel like they got to take this Chelsea training staff needs to take a look at what they're doing, because too many players are getting injured. It's just insane.
Yeah.
Broha came off too. He didn't finish the game.
Yeah, he got injured as well.
So like,
off. Yeah.
Either they're going too hard in practice, not hard enough, or they need to start doing some stretching or something. Something's not doing what it should be doing with that Chelsea club.
it's getting to the point where it's like it cannot just be bad luck coincidence with the amount of injuries that they're dealing with. It's crazy,
It's
man.
too many. Is Pochettino running these guys into the
Yeah,
ground at practice? I don't know.
yeah, I don't know, man. But yeah, I mean, good win for Chelsea. Unfortunate. I don't know. The second goal, right after Mudryk's goal, was unfortunately an error from Tim Ream. And then
Oh,
speaking
yeah.
of bad
Sad
luck,
drink for Tim
total
Ream. That was a terrible pass.
yeah,
Terrible pass.
terrible pass. But he got back and blocked the shot, yet blocked it directly off this guy's lucky shin straight into the goal, which was so frustrating.
First of all, how do you give Broha that goal?
I mean,
Is that
hit
not
his
an
shin,
own
went to the
goal?
goal.
Is that not an own goal?
Nah, Tim Ream doesn't deserve that. He cleared that ball. He just Broha got in the way. So
Yeah,
we
I
give him
guess
the goal.
so. Counted as a block.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah,
But yeah, two quick goals in the first half, and then Chelsea really saw the game out. I don't really remember that much, that many threats from Fulham's side. Maybe a few shots from the edge of the box, but they, Chelsea played a good game against, a local rival, obviously.
sadly, Jimenez is not Mitrovic, and
Not at all.
Willian's still good, but he's getting up there in age. They're not as potent as they were last year, and they're not going to get relegated, but they're also not a top half team. Not not even close. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot less parity in the league this year with the teams. Do you feel that way? Like maybe not parity. Maybe parity is the wrong word. I feel like there's a larger separation between the top half teams and the bottom half teams this year.
Yeah, I think I would agree with that. I still think there's a few that are kind of mixed up in there between the lines, right? That
Sure. Yeah.
I think will sort themselves out, but it feels like it now. Like I felt like last year because you had a team like Leicester with this like all-star roster getting relegated, like it just felt like because of some of the teams at the bottom that it felt more even and more
Mm-hmm.
distributed across the whole table. But now you look at the bottom and you're like, oh yeah, Sheffield, Luton Town, Bournemouth, these
Everton.
teams are struggling.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. It's like it feels different this year. So
Last
whether
year,
that's truly the case or not, I don't know, but it definitely feels different.
last year there was like this team 18 to like 8. I feel like we're
Yeah,
almost interchangeable. Like they were all around the same. And then like the top 5 teams were the top 5 teams, but
yeah,
this year it's a very clear break of okay, here's the top 6 to 8, here's the mid teams, and then here's the relegation teams, and there's no chance that they're switching. I think the only like weird ones are
yeah,
like okay, where's Man U and Chelsea going to finish up because they're lower than they should theoretically be.
yeah, yeah. So here's a would you rather for you. I just thought up right now looking at the table. So we have teams that are very close to each other that are kind of interspersed. But I'll take, and I'm kind of saying take the teams out of the account, but just take the situation into account here.
Okay.
So we have Man United in 10th place with 3 wins, no draws, and 4 losses on the season. But you also have Brentford, who's only 2 points behind them with only 1 win, but 4 draws and 2 losses. Which team would you rather be? Would you rather be a team that has, more wins but also more losses, or would you rather be a team that draws more but obviously has fewer wins and they're both, neck and neck in the table?
I'd rather be the team with wins and losses.
Okay.
If you have the ability to win, then you have the ability to move up the table faster. Uh, if you're that team that just, hey, we have a good defense, we play hard, we can fight for a draw, but we have trouble winning or putting
Mm-hmm.
teams away. I think that's a special skill to have as a club, and obviously 3 points are 2 more than 1 point draws. So
Exactly. Yeah,
you want
it
to be
comes down
that
to
team, and then you
what
just got to
value.
clean up. You got to clean up the mistakes, and make sure you don't
Mm-hmm.
blow leads and do everything Man United's been doing to just choke their season away in the first couple months.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'm looking at the table now because there's a few other teams kind of in similar situations. Brighton and Aston Villa, both 5 wins, no draws, 2 losses.
Brighton is
Which
that
is
team. Brighton
they're
is
that
that
team
team.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? And I feel like Aston Villa's the same. They're
Yeah.
like,
Yep,
we're either
exactly.
gonna kill you or we're gonna suck.
Hey, it's like either we're going down or you are. Like
Mhm.
that's how they approach it. And I
Yeah.
love that. It's that's why those matches are so exciting because they're gonna go for this. This isn't gonna be
Yeah,
Italian Serie A from 2008. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, much more fun to watch.
Although I did love those. I'm not saying those weren't fun, but different style of play.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you can appreciate it, but I
Yeah.
got it. Yeah. So a few other results from the weekend: Arsenal, West Ham, and Newcastle, all fairly easy games, taking home wins. I think there's any surprises there at all.
I think there's
Yeah,
something
Arsenal four
important. There's
zero.
something important to say. Can't shy away from this. This is huge. Kai
Okay,
Havertz scored his first goal,
I forgot
and
about that. That was sick
it
too.
was the I don't know who takes credit. Odegaard was the captain, so it's possible he did it.
Saka and Odegaard both. Yeah,
It was such a great team play to be like, okay, look, we got this game in the bag. We're already up 2-0. We got a penalty. I got a goal. You got a goal. Havertz needs this. Let's get it. We
yeah,
need this guy to
yeah.
get his confidence up. He needs this so badly. Let's give him the ball. They give him the ball to take the penalty. And before he made it, I was thinking to myself, man, if he misses this one,
Dude, he
he's
misses
done.
this.
He is done. But he didn't. He made it. He made the penalty. It
Yeah,
was a
and then
huge
he actually
relief, I'm
got
sure,
happy for
for
a
him.
little bit.
Yeah, he smiled like
First,
it
it was
was.
just like he was just like first he was just like oh like you could see a release, and then he actually got a little happy, which was like okay, there you go, you know.
Such a great team play. Huge. Like, I can't say enough about how important that is for the
Positive
team
vibes.
chemistry. And
All
we talked about this last year with Arsenal that they had really good team chemistry. When they would go down in a match, they didn't hang their head, they didn't point fingers. They
yeah,
would pick each other up and say, "Let's go, we got this. We can take this back." And I think that goes a long way in a league where everyone is talented. To have a team with that type of chemistry, I think can carry you places.
yeah.
So, really, cheers to Odegaard or Saka or both or whoever did that
Yeah.
because really good, smart to get Havertz going. Do I
A
think
little
it's
risky
gonna? Do
though.
I think it's gonna change how Havertz
If he
plays?
had missed
Probably
that, man,
not.
it could have been even worse.
Yeah, come on, it's a penalty. You can come
I
on,
know,
come on.
I know, but dude, just like you said, if he misses this, but no, I loved it. It was awesome to see.
Yeah,
Yeah, and great move. It set up obviously perfectly for that situation, and they embraced it. So
yeah, really
good
good.
call out there.
Nottingham Forest, Brentford. This is the most draw game ever. You picked it exact, I think, and
Yeah.
I was too smitten with Nottingham to be like, nah, I gotta take Nottingham 2-1.
Oh,
Oh man, I talked myself out of it.
yep,
So
yep. I had the
yeah,
1-1. Yep.
you were right. You were right. All right, so those were all the matchups last week. We'll do our picks on Thursday after we go over Champions
Yep.
League.
Yep.
But next, let's do some news, transfers, rumors. What do you got?
Yeah. So no particular order here, just throwing things out that happened. But over the weekend, just to shout out Lautaro Martinez starts the game on the bench at Serie A against, I think it's Salernitana that they were playing against. Comes in the second half and proceeds to score 4 goals in one half, which is just, I mean, that's Lewandowski status stuff right there.
Did he get
So
5?
just he got 5 in a game, I think. Was it a half?
I don't know if it was a half though. It might
I
have
think
just been a
I
game.
think he scored. I think he scored 4 in like 15 minutes or something crazy. Like it was something like that, and I think he might end up with like 5 in the game. But yeah, I mean, that's what we're talking about though.
Yeah.
Is that level of excellence. So shout out to Lautaro. A few other bits of news. So this one I thought was hilarious. So we talked last time about all this drama around Aston Villa's Castore shirts and how sweaty they get. And there's other teams that are in them as well. And I guess there's all these teams that have been pushing to get away from them, right? Get new shirts, get a new shirt sponsor, whatever it is. And while all that's going on, Everton decides to come in and say, hey, we want to be sponsored by you guys. Give us your shitty shirts, which is the ultimate Everton move if I've ever heard
Those
of
cheap
it.
fucks, dude. They're trying to buy low and just be like, hey, we got this contract for. Oh my god,
we heard you
dude.
suck. So do we.
Nah, that's dude, their CFO is looking at, or whoever is in charge of the financials is like, okay, where can we cut costs? Where can we cut costs? You know what? We're paying this much. We can save $1,000 if we get a new contract with these guys. That is just.
It's
I
just
want
hilarious. The timing of this is just.
They need new ownership in the worst way. Oh my god, it's embarrassing.
And then other news around. Anthony was officially back this week with Man United in training. So I don't know at all where things ended up on the legal side of things with his allegations, but I guess he was cleared. I don't know what happened, but he is back with Man U. So who knows what that means, if that helps or hurts them. But obviously another piece that a Ten Hag could potentially throw in there if things get dicey. And then this was crazy that I heard about. So we don't usually talk about MLS, let alone the USL, except when we're talking about Oakland Roots and San Diego Loyal. But one of the USL teams, the Sacramento Republic, actually played a 13-year-old in a professional soccer game over the weekend. I think he was he's like 13 and a half, something like that. The youngest player to ever officially start for a professional team, or not start, but come in and play for a professional team. Crazy. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I saw that too. He didn't look 13, let me tell you.
He looks more like 15, I would say. Yeah.
I was thinking like 16 or 17, but yeah, like it's insane. I feel like he can't be that good. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
no,
it's like
yeah.
You're telling me you can't find a 20-year-old to play on your team? Like you're really playing a 13-year-old? Yeah, like I mean,
yeah. Tell me, there's like not like a 25-year-old out there that would just stop that guy that plays like D2 soccer. You know, like
this kid's a freshman at best, like maybe even an 8th grader. Like,
yeah,
come on, I don't know. Like, I think it's a pub play. Yeah. I mean, and it worked. It got on this podcast, you know. Tens of people are going to hear this. So, yeah.
All 20 subscribers, yeah. And then the last bit of news I had before you get into what you had was, I thought this was hilarious. We talked about how Ramos and Pepe somehow continue to become more and more likable as they get older. So I guess after the Benfica-Porto game on the weekend, there was some shady calls, probably nothing to the degree of the Liverpool-Tottenham game. But anyway, and after the game, Pepe posted on Twitter or something a picture of a clown circus. And it basically was just like a bunch of clowns and like a clown tent, basically. And I don't even think he actually like wrote anything. He just like posted this like clown circus. And the league has come back and is potentially going to suspend him 4 games
for
talking trash on the refs. That's more than you get for like breaking someone's leg with a red card. You know what I'm saying? Like you get 3 games for a red card, for a violent red card, and you get 4 games for posting a picture of clowns. It's just, I mean, A, it's hilarious from Pepe, and B, it's absolutely outrageous if he ends up getting suspended. Anything more than like a fine is going to be ridiculous for this.
That is so stupid. Okay, this one.
Did
you see this?
I did not see this.
This is so far into the rumor mill that like.
Oh, okay.
It's not news.
Okay.
But. Okay. Allegedly, AC Milan coach has the green light, quote unquote, to bring in Gio Reyna and just make
Team America
in Milan.
Right. Cheers, Gio. I wonder what. So
Part of
obviously
me,
this wouldn't
part
be
of
able to.
me, part
This
of me
wouldn't be able to
likes
happen
it,
until January. Yeah.
but majority of me doesn't want this to happen. I don't want it to happen.
I don't really want to see it either. I want to see him go to a different team.
Yeah, like go to the Premier League. We need more. We need more guys in the Premier League. We lost all our Premier League players. Everyone's in the Italian league now.
Yeah.
We got Tyler Adams, who hasn't come back from injury yet. Gio Reyna, dude, go to Everton. They won't pay for you, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a
I don't know. I don't know about Everton.
yeah,
But,
maybe not
but
Everton.
yeah.
Yeah, bad choice. Yeah, no, screw those guys. But yeah, that's allegedly that was the rumor. We'll see what comes of it, but I hope nothing bad.
I feel like the 2 Americans per team is working. We got 2 on Juventus. We got 2 on AC Milan. Let's keep it at 2.
Yeah.
But let's get him somewhere he's going to play and as a big team because he needs the experience. We need him to keep growing.
Yeah.
We need him to go through the reps of the highest pressure and the toughest scenarios. Yeah, and hopefully he can just stay healthy and stay consistent playing because I feel like that's been his Achilles heel so far is just staying out there on the field year round. It's just we need him to be playing.
Yeah.
But interesting. That'll heat up obviously as we get towards January.
Yeah,
That'll be
we'll
interesting
see.
to watch.
Yeah, we'll see. Another rumor, definitely a rumor, is I guess Marseille is potentially going to be bought by a Saudi owner. And
because the American selling.
This Saudi owner wants to bring in Zidane, and it said like if
From
he gets the
Marseille.
club, gonna get Zidane, and he's just gonna give him a boatload of money to acquire whoever he wants, basically.
Good.
So, I mean, I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
That would be pretty dope.
I would be, and the only thing that like bums me out is that my man is basically retired already, and he's no longer on Marseille. But maybe he can come back as like a free kick coach or something.
Yeah, bring him back, set him on the bench for 1 year when they run Ligue 1, and let him get that trophy that he deserves.
Absolutely. Okay, this next bit of news is actually news. So, in determining the World Cup final location, they have ruled out Los Angeles. So, SoFi is not an option for the final. The final is either going to be at MetLife in New York or in Dallas. Those are the 2 locations remaining. Yeah, lame. I understand New York because it's New York. It's easy for European countries to travel to. It's probably going to be the pick, I think.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So when I was in Europe a few months ago, every conversation I ended up having with a European, they would come down to what cities you're visiting and be like, oh, have you ever visited the U.S.? And literally 100%, every single person I talked to, if they hadn't been to the U.S., that's where they wanted to go. They want to go to New York. It's just where everyone that isn't from America wants to go. They just, that is the city you go to. And it doesn't make sense for it to be anywhere else. So I would be shocked if it ends up in a place like Dallas. I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm surprised that they ruled Los Angeles out over Dallas.
I know.
Though.
I'm very shocked in that. But I would say the fact that the last World Cup final was in LA, potentially the last World Cup that was in the US was in LA. So I see why that could potentially, maybe like we got to do it somewhere new. That probably had some influence.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like it should have come down to LA or New York, not Dallas.
Exactly.
That to me is purely a stadium play and not a fan play, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, that's all we got for news. Injuries. Gakpo out for a month? I didn't know that.
At least a month. So remember that goal he scored? He scored this awesome goal.
I saw him buckle his knee.
Blasted it. And he just... I've actually done that before where you kick it so hard and your knee locks out and it just... it isn't quite right the way it locked out, whether your kneecap came out of the groove or meniscus or something. It wasn't clear what the injury is, and the fact that they said very vaguely at least a month, that to me is pretty concerning.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like this could easily turn into like 3 months before we know it. So yeah, hopefully we'll probably find out more soon, but hopefully it's not anything very serious that requires surgery. The other injury news, I don't know. I assume this must have happened over the weekend, but Chilwell injured again. Seems to always be injured.
Yep.
The English version of Gio Reyna.
That Chelsea training staff.
Too. And supposedly out till December. So there's actually less so concern with Chelsea, who should definitely be concerned. But the English team is freaking out because they don't have Luke Shaw and now they don't have Chilwell. So
they're fine. They don't have Reece James either.
They don't have Reece James. So suddenly, and I think, can you play like Maguire? Like suddenly, because John Stones is out as well. So suddenly,
you can't add anybody.
You're probably being forced to play Kyle Walker at center back, even potentially, because they don't want to pick up Ben White because there's been a bunch of drama there, I guess. So there's a lot of concern because they have some important games coming up for the qualifiers. So we'll see what they end up choosing to do there.
Oh my God, why is Harry Maguire on your team? Come on.
Yeah,
so bad, dude. It's so bad.
Stupid.
All right, let's get to some quotes. Let's lighten this pot up.
Yeah.
All right, you got a quote about... Oh, I got a Varane quote that ties into the Man United struggles. So let me drop that for you as you pull up your quotes. So Varane said, quote, "This Manchester United team is good enough to win the Champions League."
Bullshit.
There's no, like,
bullshit.
I'm glad you're feeling confident. Like, that's good. I hope he can be a leader. This team can't win the Champions League. This team couldn't win the Europa League.
You're good enough on paper to be top 4 potentially in the Premier League on paper. The way you've been playing, absolutely not. But that is about the most I feel like you could confidently speak to as to say that you're gonna. That's.
I don't agree.
Get that one.
I don't agree.
Do not agree.
All right, what were your quotes?
So I had a couple here. So the first one I found, this was from Troy Deeney, who was obviously a Watford stalwart forever. And this was a story, I never realized this, but Gianfranco Zola actually used to coach him at Watford. I guess he was a coach for like a year and a half there. I don't know when. I don't know if it was in the Championship or the Premier League. I don't even remember now. But anyway, he used to actually challenge his own players as the coach to free kick contests.
No way.
And yeah, so he's like, this is a quote from Deeney. "I remember Zola. During the 18 months he was in charge at Watford, he challenged us to beat him at scoring free kicks. You would get 5 chances to see who could score the most from 25 yards over a set of mannequins acting as a wall. The winner would get £50. During those 18 months, he went unbeaten. I never saw anyone even come close. He would score at least 3 out of 5. He beat every Premier League level player as a 55-year-old coach or something.
That's pretty awesome.
Just shitting on him, dude. It's like, what a boss.
That's so cool.
So good. All right, and then I had this one's great. This one is great. So Ibrahimovic quote. So I don't know the context of what this question was asked, but basically this is the quote, and I don't know if it was like a response to a question or whatever. But quote, whomever says that scoring a goal is better than sex has issues and must seek help.
That's so good. Oh man, you gotta love him. I saw one too. I didn't put it on here, but there was when he was at Barcelona, Pep said something like, "Players don't come with Ferraris" or something like that, and Ibrahimovic was like, "So obviously I went out and bought a Ferrari and showed up at the next practice in my
Yeah,
Ferrari."
you damn well know I did that.
Oh man, love Ibra, dude. We need him back. I got one more quote for you. It's not a new one. Oh, you got one more?
The top message from that though is get this guy in the broadcasting booth immediately.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Dude.
Real quick before you go, I just had one I forgot to mention earlier because we got so excited talking about Mudryk, but I actually had a quote from Pochettino about Mudryk that I wanted to share with you.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So after his good game, obviously, so he said, "Trust me, Mudryk is really making a massive effort to try to integrate himself. He's trying to understand better what it means to play like a team, but he is young, and for sure he is going to improve. We are so happy in how he is improving."
That's awesome.
So very strong positivity coming out of the coach for him.
What really made me like him as a player is he clearly has electric speed and quickness. But what made me like him is he would track back a lot. He would defend hard. Sometimes, like if there was a counterattack, he would end up behind the defenders because maybe there was a corner or something, and he was still in the box. He would just end up sprinting down the field to help out with defending, and like that's what made me be like, dude, this guy. I love that. I love to see that from an attacking player. So yeah, I'm not selling my Mudryk stock, as you know.
That's good. That's good.
Speaking of guys we need in the booth, I got a quote for you. It's not new, but it popped up on my feed, so I had to share it.
You had to share. You had to share.
You may have seen it before, but it's a Gattuso quote, so I knew you would love it.
Good.
He said, "When I lost a match, I broke down in frustration. Today players lose. Take a selfie and put it on the internet. They make me sick."
So good.
Oh my gosh. Gattuso, you're a legend.
He's so awesome.
He's coaching right now, right? Where's he coaching?
I mean, I don't know where he's coaching. It might have been in Spain, actually. Let me check. He is coaching... Oh, he's coaching Marseille. I guess they hired him at Marseille.
Oh, no way. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Damn.
I think last year he was in La Liga.
With that attitude, I would love to see him coach young players.
Yeah, for sure.
That would be so funny.
Yeah, he was at Valencia last year, and then he just moved to Marseille.
That's what
this
it
year.
Was, Valencia, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I got a stat for you before we get to our horrible bets from last week. This is kind of a troll job for Mexico International.
Okay.
It took 7 games for Christian Pulisic to equal Chucky Lozano's tally for goals from last season in Serie A. 7 games.
Dude, where did he go? I forgot he's gone.
Yeah, Napoli got rid of him. Dude, he is... I hate Lozano. He is the most selfish player. He's that guy where it's like a 3-on-1 breakaway and he's shooting.
Yeah.
Like,
he's still only 28. He moved to PSV. So he's actually playing in the Champions League.
Whenever we played them in international play, I was like, just let him shoot. Just let that guy shoot. He's not going to hurt us. Like, it's fine. Yeah.
Straight up.
Hilarious. Hilarious troll job. Love it.
Yeah. Let's go, Pulisic. Just keep pumping those stats.
All right, let's wrap it up with, this can be quick. We placed 4 bets last week. We lost all of them. We had been on fire, winning money in 5 of the first 6 weeks. Came to a crashing halt. We didn't win a single one.
Nope.
Brighton lost. We had them in 2 bets. Man City lost, killed us. And then our Nottingham Forest Liverpool didn't stand a chance. So,
nope, not a chance. Yeah, it's a tough week. The Brighton, we put a lot of stock in Brighton, and that one hurt. And then obviously, I mean, we had the Newcastle and West Ham win. but we threw in Man City to be like, oh, here's a sure thing. Just let's
It
up the
was
odds a
such a
little.
sure thing, dude. Like the most sure thing obviously didn't work. Unbelievable.
Of
Their,
course.
their first loss of the season comes to Wolves. You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, that's unexpected. But if you took an underdog last week,
Oh,
props to you. Underdogs hit hard. We had Wolves win. We had Tottenham win as an underdog on the road. Luton Town winning at Everton. Crystal Palace winning at Man U. Aston Villa winning at home against Brighton. All underdogs taking home wins. So
dude, we should have put money on Crystal
big, big,
Palace, knowing how bad
big
Man
underdog
United have
week.
been. Plus 460
Yeah,
for Crystal
we,
Palace.
we should have. Yeah.
Wolves plus 775. No one's placing that bet unless you're a Wolves fan. Nobody.
That's surprisingly lower than I would have expected too. Like I would have expected like plus 1,000. You know.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Maybe if it was on the road.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Good point. If they were at Man
But
City,
still,
good point.
like, unbelievable. Unbelievable. So yeah. Thursday we'll do prop bets, and then we will have our picks for next weekend. And
Yes,
obviously,
sir.
we'll have a lot of Champions League to go over.
A lot of big Champions League games to talk about.
Hell
So get
yeah.
ready. It's
Hell
gonna
yeah.
get spicy.
Fucking love Champions League. All right, Torn.
All right, man.
Well,
I'll see
cheers.
you.
See you on Thursday.
Cheers. See you Thursday.